Hey, welcome to my channel. Congratulations, you just ordered or are thinking about ordering the most popular vehicle in the United States of America, the Ford F-150. And as somebody that ordered one 3 months ago and still is waiting patiently for this vehicle to come into my life, so what I thought I'd do is I'd show you, through my experience of waiting the last 3 months, some of the things that I've been able to do to at least give me a sense that, yeah, the order is out there and this truck someday is going to come. And even though it seems like it never will. And I've seen people that have ordered these things and have been waiting for better part of a year just to get into production schedule. So believe it or not, that it does exist. And it all depends on several things. And there are some things that are in your control at this point of time. So what I'm going to do in this video is just kind of walk you through some of the things that you can do to check and track your order and keep an eye on what's going on. So this will be part one. And as I know more, I will add parts two and maybe more than that for this truck. So let's get into it. This is the exciting part. Part one is ordering the truck. So you know what you want. You have a pretty good idea of all the options that you're looking for, and hopefully you've got some kind of budget in mind for what you're going to buy. So we start with the order. Now you're going to sit down with your dealer, and chances are the best way to do this, because the process is so confusing and there's so many options, there's so many different trim levels, there's so many different engines and powertrains available, that it's really best if you sit down with an expert that understands the trucks very well, unless you are one yourself and you know exactly what you want. I certainly didn't. And I had to sit down with a sales manager and kind of bang out exactly what to do and how to build this. Now, I bought lots of cars over the last 30 years, and I used to be able to walk into a dealership with a real strong hand and say, this is as much as I'm going to pay. I'll pay you X amount over invoice. And those days are just over right now with the supply chain issues. I mean, I tried a little bit of negotiation in terms of the price, and there was immediate pushback on that. Now, there are dealers around the country that you can buy for a percentage point or two under invoice. You may have to fly in and drive home to do something like that. So is it worth the hassle for 2-3%? Maybe, maybe not. But under no circumstances should you pay over invoice for it. The only time that I'm seeing people being charged over invoice for at least a Ford in this case is if it's a pre-built vehicle or Raptor inventory, something like that. But for a standard F-150, if it's not already pre-built, if it's a special order, there's no reason for you to pay anything above invoice. If they put the heat on you, then I would walk. So you've arranged for an order, you've signed the agreement at the bottom, the sales manager signed it, off you go, you're all set to go. All right, so the next step is you'll eventually, usually within a couple of days, get an email from Ford themselves to let you know what you've ordered and that you've been scheduled for production. You've not really been scheduled for production. They've just sort of slotted you in at some future point, and that's the earliest that it will be built. And if you go down here and hit this track your order, you should be sent off to a website, which is shop.ford.com, and you'll be on their tracker and you'll see this order confirmed. And hopefully if you've got your correct order number and your correct VIN, this will allow you to log in and check on the status. Now, this is going to be the main tracker that you're going to use. Now, understand that this thing does go down periodically during the week for hours at a time. So you'll click on that and it'll come back and give you nothing. Just keep at it, which, you know, again, for most of us that have been waiting several months, you'll get very used to entering your details on this site. And most browsers will keep your information in the cache, so you're not looking it up every single time to do this. So this is your entry into the Ford tracking website. Now, eventually what's going to happen is, as you close in on the production date, now this is no guarantee. Some people have not had this happen. Myself, I got pushed at least once. So here was the first push date, which was a week out. And then a few days later, I got another email with the second push date. So this is 2 weeks distant of my original quote unquote production date. And compared to some people that have been waiting for the better part of a year, after 3 months, I'm still feeling fairly fortunate at this point, even though I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs, and this is the longest thing I've ever waited for in my life. So eventually, when you log on to the tracking site, you're going to see something a little bit different. And I'm going to show you this real time now. I'm going to jump over to the website and show you the status of my current order. Okay, so after about 3 months, and it really has been almost exactly 3 months now, this is the current status of my order in the tracking system. And you'll notice that I've gone past the first bubble here, and I'm into the second bubble. Now, sometimes you wonder if this is real because you don't see, there's just a slight hazing around this. It's not really fully colored in, so I'm not sure how committed that they are. I don't know if there's different degrees of gradient on the button that's inside of the in production. But here's the main thing. Once you get to in production, you'll see this little statement that says your order's being manufactured at one of our factories. When you have a moment, try out the link to your window sticker that is now available on the lower of the page, lower on the page. Okay, so what you're going to do is scroll down to here and then hit view window sticker. And this will bring up an Adobe Acrobat file. Now, this is when things start to really happen. This is when your order is really real. When you get the window sticker, because the most important thing now that you're going to find is all the way up at the top of this, and it's your blend date. So if we zoom in on this, your blend date, ignore the first number. So it's going to be 2022, which is the year, 03/12. So March 12th is my blend date, which means this is when the vehicle gets put together on the assembly line. What you can also do is you can verify exactly what it is that you're looking for. Now, there's a lot of codes that are on here that there's a lot of conjecture in terms of what they all mean. I believe that this is vehicle 4499 in the series. I don't know all these. There's some things in terms of the ramps and all that. Now, one thing I've noticed here is that your actual order number is right down here. Now, this also says convoy, and convoy implies that my car will eventually be on a truck, or this truck will eventually be on a semi to be delivered. But for most of these that are coming from Dearborn or Kansas City to some distant state, most likely they're going to be on rail first until they hit a depot spot, and then they can be offloaded and put on a semi truck for final delivery to your dealer. So in my case, it's highly unlikely that they're going to truck this thing all the way from Dearborn to South Carolina, which is my final destination. Now, don't get all upset because this is not likely what you paid for your vehicle. This is not what I paid for this vehicle. It's going to use a different pricing matrix for this. So don't worry about that. What you set up in your initial order form with your dealer is what you pay. So now we get to part two. Once you've got that window sticker, now you've got some more information. You certainly have a blend date. The blend date is the most important thing that happens, but there's no guarantee that once your vehicle is built, that it's going to actually be shipped to you. This is because of the chip holds that they've had. So a lot of times the vehicle will be driven to an empty lot to sit there in silence and solitude with literally thousands of other trucks waiting on one part. Now, sometimes it can be one of these infamous chips, which is, they're not literally waiting on an integrated circuit or a memory chip. It's usually a module, which is part of something bigger. It could be anything due to, the Copilot 360, or it could be something to do with the Pro Power on board. It could be some piece of silicon that's had to come from South Korea or Taiwan. But I've also heard from people that work on the line that sometimes trucks are held up for something as silly as their rear coat hangers in the cabin. Like, it's missing the coat hangers from the rear seats, and so they won't ship the truck out until it's 100% complete. So this begins a period of it's kind of the black hole, if you will, because your truck may be built, but it's not being shipped to you. So there are some things that you can do to kind of keep track on it. First thing I would do is don't be afraid to use your dealer. Your dealer should be just as incentivized as you to get this deal done and get that truck in the process of getting to you, right? So let your dealer do some of the heavy lifting for you, although sometimes it's tough because they're busy, right? They're busy selling new trucks. They're not necessarily making any more money by hustling to get yours delivered. So there's only so much that you can do, but some of the better dealers will actually do a lot of the legwork and tell you what's going on. There are some things, though, that you can do to help watchdog the process. One of these is the as-built site, which is motorcraftservice.com. And let's go over to that page right now. All right, so here's the motorcraftservice.com website that was listed on the last slide. And this is where your cache in your browser will help you. Here's the front gatekeeper, TMI. And so we'll submit that. And then if your truck is in the process of being built, you will see something here. Now, my assumption is this is the download file, which basically flashes your vehicle. And since my truck is still a couple of days away from being built, I don't know if this is going to look any different after the blend date, but I would say this is something that's very important for this to be there, because if not there, then your truck's not going to have any brains to it. Again, I talked about this black hole that your truck will get into. So unless you're getting some regular email communications from Ford telling you exactly what's going on, if they've actually told you that they're shipping your truck and they expect a certain destination date at your dealer, that's all good. But for so many trucks I've seen, for folks out there, they're sort of living in this netherworld where they're not really sure exactly where their truck is in the process. All right, so now I'm going to go to that rail tracking site, which is palsapp.com. So here we go. And this is going to be a little bit like doing a high wire act, because I just learned how to do this morning. Now, you used to be able to go onto the Jack Cooper site. This is North American Auto Transportation, and it shows basically the tracking through rail of your truck. And so apparently Ford uses this PalsApp or Jack Cooper site. Now you'll notice that there is no tracker on here. So what we have to do is we have to get tricky. We have to do some coding with this. And again, I warn you here because I just learned how to do this, and this may not be done very well, and you're going to cringe. But if you go to the three dots on your Chrome tab or whatever app that you're using for a browser, and I'm going to go to Developer Tools. And what this is going to do is this is going to show the code behind this site. Now, again, I'm not very good at searching this. I'm really terrible at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep opening these until I find what I'm looking for. And it's going to be somewhere. Oh, there it is. I found it right off the bat. And this is what I need to edit. So I need to take both of these words out of here. Hidden equals hidden. So find a row that looks exactly like this. And all I'm going to do is just backspace out of that. Hidden equals hidden with the quotes on there. And that's it. I'm going to take that out of there. Okay, so that's gone. Hidden equals hidden is gone. Now I'm going to go back up to and just X this out and look at this just like magic. I have a VIN here. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and paste this in, paste in my VIN, and then hit search. And I have no information on this. Okay, so the destination null, freight bill, it knows of my VIN, status pending. So my build date is not until this Saturday. So it's got nothing to ship. There's no status on it, doesn't know anything. So it's not been handed off to the shipper yet. But once this happens, I'm anticipating that I can find this from an origin of Dearborn Truck Plant. So again, the fact that my VIN is in here means that that's progress. And you should be able to go through your dealer and get this, but this is just a quick little hack that shows you how to get into the rail site. And want to thank the guys over at F-150gen14.com that showed me how to do this. All right, guys, I hope that helps some of you that are out there pining for your truck and have no information, don't know what's going on, feel like you're in the black hole of Ford. Hope that gives you a little bit more power and information on how to track your vehicle. As I know more, and as I get updates on my own truck, I will post some updates on here. I'm sure I'll learn more about how to track this, maybe the official Ford way. Thanks, everybody, for watching the video. We'll see you soon.